And one of the things that I often see is, I hear a lot of people say, well, kids aren't making their own strategies, and they're supposed to get their own strategies, and so then we have teachers who are teaching kids different strategies, right? Which was never the intent of multiple approaches to doing addition and subtraction. Strategies are supposed to come from the children, right? And it's because we are supposed to honor the ways of thinking of those children. But if they don't know quantity, they probably won't be able to come up with their own strategies because they can't visualize it well enough to do it. So if you want kids to be able to do operation really well, what you need to work on is developing quantity sense, the sense of what a number means. So what does 35 mean? Well, it's 3 of these bundles of 10 and 5 more. Or it's 3 10 frames filled and 5 in another 10 frame. These things are foundationally important when we're talking about teaching multi-digit addition and subtraction. If we want kids to develop that flexibility, when we want kids to say, I can take 98 plus 27 and know that I can make that 98 into 100 plus 25, right? Take 2 from one and give it to the other. It's because they've partitioned a lot and they've held number in their hand and they can do that. For kids who aren't visualizing those numbers, that's just another rule they need to remember, right? And so we really want kids to actually be building quantity as much as possible. And if you find they're struggling with operations, chances are you need to go back and build some more quantity. We're going to actually talk about jumping on a number line. So sometimes in math, we're really interested in repeated jumps on a number line. So sometimes this activity, I'm going to explain the 3 and then I'm going to let you play with it for a little bit. This activity is actually on your tables. So sometimes when we're playing with mathematical ideas, we might be curious about what happens if I take 3 jumps of 4 on a number line. Or maybe what if I did 4 jumps of 3? Would I get to the same place? And in fact, I can roll dice and get different values and play around with jumping on a number line and put them in different orders and see what happens. I can also build sets. Sometimes I just roll some dice and I say, oh, I got 5 and 6, I'm going to build 5 sets of 6. I could have built 6 sets of 5. I could have, rolled dice and gotten 3 and 2 and built 3 sets of 2 or 2 sets of 3 to figure out how many little counters I need altogether. Or I could shade rows. I could roll 3 and 6 and say, oh, I'm going to shade 3 rows of 6. Or maybe I might have shaded 6 rows of 3. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm doing multiplication, but did I say today, grade 3s, we're going to learn about multiplication? No, I said today, grade 3s, we're going to play a little game where we talk about jumping on a number line or building sets or shading rows. And we can do this a lot of times until students start to understand what happens when I do something, when I work with quantities repeatedly, right? So when I repeat a quantity, like a jump on a number line over and over again, and we can have discussions because some kids will roll 3 and 4 and do 3 jumps of 4, and some kids will roll 3 and 4 and do 4 jumps of 3, and then we get to talk about this cool property in math called commutativity. But we don't need to say that yet in grade 3. We can just say, does it matter if I do 3 jumps of 4 or 4 jumps of 3? Do I get to the same place? Does it look the same? Does it look different? Or does it matter if I shade 3 rows of 6 or 6 rows of 3? Do I get the same size shape? Right? And so this leads to really interesting and important conversations. And then when kids start to realize they can get the answers to these questions, you say, guess what, grade 3? We've been doing multiplication. And that comes from when we do something repeatedly over and over again. When we repeatedly use a quantity. Right? So when I talk about process, emphasizing the process, this is the kind of thing that I think we should be doing.